everyone, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in creating this luminous necklace featuring a nice pear drop that is accentuated and accented by tubelip beads. Remember, if you do need any materials to make this nice, simple, and shiny necklace, you can check out the links below to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. To begin our piece, I have my materials laid out here. I have my clasp as well as my wire guards. It's a Potomac push clasp in that nice swirl color. Some 2mm Potomac crystal rondelles in the Montana AB. And then a collection of crystal Labrador fool in the tubelip beads, 11-0 Miyuki seed beads, 15-0 Miyuki seed beads. And then I'm working with a crystal pear drop. And this is a Potomac crystal pear drop in the nice sea luster color. And it's a 13 by 18mm crystal. We're going to begin with the pendant here, and then we'll build back into the simplicity of the chain portion of the necklace. I have 0.006 wildfire beading thread that I have a size 11 needle on. You'll notice that I already put a stop bead on 5 feet of beading thread and then strung through my crystal from the bottom, bigger section, toward the top. After stringing through the crystal, I wanted to get the exterior or the tublets around to make it appear larger than it is. To do so, I've added one 11-0 seed bead followed by a tublet, and I've done so 7 times. At the end of those 7 tublets, you also want to make sure to add one more 11-0, so it starts and ends with an 11-0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 go on to frame out the crystal. And coming out the top of the crystal, I'm going to go into the top of the crystal toward the bottom again. Now when you do this, you'll notice that it kind of sits towards the base there, or towards the top rather. We're going to end up folding it across the top. To do so and make more of an impact, I'm going to bring my needle out just above the beads, keeping that stop bead toward the back. Give a nice tight pull, and I want to add 2 11-0 seed beads onto my needle as I come out through the base of that crystal. Once you have those 2 11-0 seed beads on, go ahead and sew through from the right to the left that bottom tublet bead. I'm going to give a nice tight pull to make sure I don't have any extra thread showing. Add 2 more 11s and go back up through the crystal from the bottom toward the top. Again, give a nice tight pull, making sure that those beads sit evenly on either side of your tublet. And then as you come out the top here, we're going to decorate along the sides. To decorate along the side, I want you to add one 11-0 seed bead and then sew through your next 11-0 towards the right, as well as the tublet bead. Coming out through that tublet bead then, go ahead and add 2 15-0 seed beads onto your needle and sew through the second tublet. Add 2 more 15-0s on and sew through the third tublet, skipping over the 11s. When you get to the base here, I want you to add 3 15s and sew through your fourth and center tublet. Coming out that fourth one, go ahead and repeat the 3 count of your 15-0s. Go into the 5th tublet and then back to your 2 count. Go ahead and do 1, 2 into tublet number 6, 1, 2 into tublet number 7. When you go into tublet number 7, also go into that first 11-0 there, which was the last bead that you added in that random group of, or that starter group of 7. Add 1 more 11-0 seed bead and then sew through the 11-0 that you just added on the opposite side as you started to go around. That's going to get our initial frame for our crystal that's going to sit at the base of our necklace. We're going to go around one more time just to dress it up a little bit more, and then we're going to start to do the sides of our pendant. Coming out those 2 seed beads that sit in the middle at the top, I want you to add to your thread and needle 1 15, one of your 2mm crystal and another 15. We're going to go back into those last 2 beads that your thread is coming out of, ladder stitching those beads in the crystal to sit to the top. And see how it's just going to sit up there. I want you to go back through the first 15 crystal, 15, And now we're going to come back down through the start of our oval. To do so, go ahead and add 1, 2, and 3 more 15s and sew through the first tublet on the left-hand side. What that's going to do is make a nice little point here at the top to attach onto as we create our sides of our necklace. So you have the crystal on the top, and then coming down here through the sides, I want you to go through again that 15 tublet, 15, the whole way down towards the base, giving a nice tight pull to tighten that up. Through your next tublet, as you come down to the bottom, and that tightens up that piece there. You can see that stop bead is towards the back of the design, and I'm keeping my thread toward the front. Going in then toward the middle of the piece, I want you to go up through what looks like 3 seed beads. The 11-0 that catches on between those 2 tubelets, as well as through the 2 beads that sit below the crystal. That's going to make that look like a more congruent line. From here, tighten it up just a little bit, going through and out the top. When I go out through the top there, I want you to catch again just those middle 2 seed beads. And then you're going to come back down through the crystal and then out the 3 seed beads on the opposite side. So I'm going to go down those 2 seed beads again, and then also pick up that third 11-0 that sits between that base tublet. And that just really tightens up that design and makes that a little bit more stable. Going through then the tublet, that's next. Going through then the 2 15-0s that sit on the side, the tublet, the 2 15-0s, through the next tublet, and then as I come out the tublet here on the right hand side, because remember we started down the left, I'm going to pick up those 3 15-0s and then go through the crystal that sits at the top. That's going to finish out our little pendant section that frames that teardrop, and now we're going to go into making our necklace portion of our piece. When coming out the crystal on the side here, what I did is made my side of my necklace and the chain section for it. I added 2 15-0s just to separate it out and get it a little bit closer or further away rather from the crystal. And then I did a repetitive pattern. The pattern is crystal, 15, 11, crystal, tube, crystal. And then we go backwards. 11, 15, crystal, 15, 11, crystal, tube, crystal, 11, 15, and so forth. So I did this for about 8 inches to get my necklace to be about 19 inches. What I'm going to do now is add one side of my clasp, and I've ended on a crystal just so there's a little bit more color there in the back. I'm going to go up through my wire guard, add on my clasp after going down through the wire guard on the other side, and then popping my clasp in there. Give a nice little tight tug. And then I'm going to go down through my entire row here of my crystal set. So I'm going to take my needle and thread, making sure that I don't miss any, and double up the thread through this entire side of the necklace. So you're just going to take your needle and thread through, give a nice tight pull, and then as we get back to the center, what we're going to do is take our needle and thread the whole way through the center bead here. So I'm going to take it and thread it the whole way through here, through that center crystal, and repeat the same thing on the other side. So just to show here, I'm done stringing through the whole side of my necklace. And you'll notice my stop bead and my crystal is still, at the bottom of my crystal is still there. We're going to take that off and tie off the thread as we get back down when we're finished with this second side of the necklace chain. So again, just go in, take your 2 15s then after coming out the crystal, add your crystal, and then start your pattern again with the 15, 11 crystal, tube, crystal, 11, and your 15. I'm gonna let that all get down next to that nice simple pendant. You can see how it's looking here. And then once I get to the end, I'm gonna do the exact same thing here, putting a wire guard on the other side and attaching and bringing my thread and needle right back down again to that center crystal at the top. Once you get down on the side here and you're coming out through that crystal, so I've gone through and I've attached both sides here and I have my nice beaded chain for my necklace. I'm coming out the crystal and I'm going to drop down through my first 15-0 there, right after the crystal, as well as then dropping down through that first 11-0. That sits right above the pendant, as well as the second 11-0. We're going to go through the center of our pendant, down toward the back of the design here. Bring your thread and needle out there. Go ahead and take off your stop bead. Super simple. Tie those two thread ends together. It's really, really quite simple. And because of the white thread, the crystals there, you're not going to see the knot, which is great. Give 3 good knots. And then go ahead and take your wire or your thread burner and burn down your thread edges. Now, if you're concerned also and you want to get some more pieces of thread through your pendant, you can also do the pendant as just a pair of earrings and then use some Beadalon beading cable and do the necklace portion in the beading cable. You would have taken your thread and needle back down through the pendant originally and then proceeded with your clasp and necklace just as its own independent unit, going from one side, stringing right through the crystal and right over to the other side. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this nice luminous necklace. It has a lot of different uses that you can do them as a pair of earrings, as its own independent, or you could even drop a couple more down from the sides. It really does shine and have the light go through as it has that bead right in the center and the crystal accents along the sides. Remember, you can also comment below with any questions, any suggestions, as well as any comments to help out this beading community at large. You can also like it if you haven't already, as well as subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Remember, if you do need any of the materials, check out the links below to shop with us online. As always, thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see your luminous necklace ideas and your designs in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. Thanks so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.